Welcome to the Board Game Den. I'm going to do a playthrough of Mansions of Madness. I played the 4 scenarios that came with the base game and enjoyed all 4 of them. Really good scenarios. I think my favourite's probably Shattered Bonds. Today I'm going to play Cult of Sentinel Hill, the scenario that comes with Suppressed Memories expansion. I haven't played it before, so I have no idea what's going to happen. Harvey Walters, professor at Miskatonic University, has become aware of the strange occurrences at Sentinel Hill and has asked Rita Young, one of his students, to accompany him and to help him uncover what is going on.
Asking questions in Dunwich does not make you popular with the locals, but too many strange things are happening for you to remain uninvolved. The herd animals that should be placid stampede themselves into a bloody mess or vanish without warning. Unseasonable lightning storms flicker above Sentinel Hill just outside of town. Swathes of forest have been destroyed by an impossibly massive force passing through. The locals give you only dark looks in answer to your questions, but their silence is proof of a shared fear. Something unnatural is in the hills. After the sullen treatment, you're not surprised when the men come for you in the dead of night. There are too many of them for you to withstand for long, and your screams for help are ignored. With an explosion of pain, you slip into unconsciousness.
Harvey and Rita come to their senses in the dark room. When their eyes adjust to the gloom, they realise that they are locked in some sort of lab. While they gain their bearings in the dark, they find that their captors have not taken any of their possessions. They wonder how they could have been so careless, and moreover, what their plans for them might be. A small sound alerts them to another person locked in the cell with them. When they focus, they see a man slumped against the far wall, cradling an arm close to his chest. He murmurs to them, "Not dead yet then, huh?" This is Zebulon Waitley. The room has only one door, which is locked with an impressively large padlock. A faint purple glow draws your attention to a table placed near the door. A rusted gurney has been shoved to one side of the room, and you think it could be used to block the door should the need arise. The man across from you seems to come to a decision, presenting you with his hand. "Zebulon Waitley, for what it's worth. The way I see it, if any of us is to survive tonight, then that callers need to be stopped. I got a plan for that, if any of you want to hear it." Okay, well obviously they're going to want to hear Zeb's plan. So, Harvey, he'll step forward and he'll have a chat with Zeb. "What is your plan?" Smiling, Zebulon begins to explain. "See, the cult that formed in Dunwich is led by a relative of mine, and old Waitley is a bit mad. Wants to call up powers that need to stay buried. He set up the whole of the Sentinel Hill for the experiment schedule tonight." The old man gestures across the dark room. "See that glow? The same sort of light was seen around the Waitley farm when the troubles started. He found some way to infuse beasts with unnatural strength, and since then his experimenting has disrupted the weather around these parts. If we can escape this hole, then we could stop his latest experiment before something awful happens. It ought not to be too hard, and I can follow behind even with my injuries. That is, if you think you can manage it." And they gain 2 clues. So that's Harvey's first action. So I think for his second action, we'll have a look at this. The table is stained, and sharp metal implements have been left arranged around a small object glowing faintly in the dark. That's right, there's one of old Whately's bloody experiments I was telling you about. Taking this one down ought to help to stop whatever is happening up the hill tonight. The glowing object twitches, and you count 3 twisted limbs covered in grey slime before the bile rises in your throat. Needs to test his will. His will is 4. Right, he's got 3 clue tokens, so we'll spend one of those to turn that to a success. 1, 2. The glow fades when you violently scatter everything on the bloody table to the floor. Wherever poor animal Whately flayed must have been part of the experiment. Gain the forensic evidence unique item. With the gruesome evidence in your hand, Zebulon uses his good hand to cover his mouth and nose. What that stench! I hope the rest of old Whately's experiment ain't quite so unpleasant. Right, so that's gone. And now we're going to get Rita to check this door. She's going to move over there. When you approach the lone exit, you can tell the padlock is antiquated and you might be able to disable it. So we can pick the lock or smash the lock. Rita's got nothing to smash the lock with. Her observation's 3. Let's try and pick it. The padlock chills your palms as you work the interior mechanisms. Tap to attempt the puzzle. Okay, his skill is observation. Right, need to move this down, that across, that down. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll take 5 attempts, I think, if that's the only quicker way of doing it. So that's what we'll do. Move that. 1, 2, 3, and that's as much as she can do with this action, but she's got a second action. Okay, I'm concerned if she opens that door and doesn't have any actions left. Well, we don't know what's behind the door, so I think she's going to leave that there for now. And that, nothing else. Can she speak to him again? Right, yeah, she's gonna talk to Zebulon. So he's still slumped against the wall, cradling his arm. She's gonna ask him about the experiment. What is the experiment meant to do? Well, old Whately has always had a fascination with making animals bigger and wilder. But nature will only allow so much. Then something changed, and suddenly old Whately could make any kind of monster you could dream up. The experiment tonight is meant to reach beyond the natural and bring something truly awful into this world. Gain 2 clues. And that's the end of the investigator's turn. Mythos phase. The world lengthens and stretches away, then snaps back to shape. This mythos event affects the investigator with the most spells. The only one with a spell is Harvey, so it's going to affect him. As you turn your head, you feel the world shifting at uneven speeds. Parallax revealing unknown truths about the nature of the universe. Gain the instill bravery spell, then suffer 2 horror. Oh, that's nice. So we gain a spell. Okay. Then he has to suffer 2 horror, and his law will negate that. His law is 4. Great. We're going to need 2. And he passes that easily. Great. Back to the investigator phase. Right, I'm going to get Harvey to finish picking the lock on the door. So all he needs to do, his observation's 4, so that's no problem. Moves this down, and then moves that across. The padlock springs open, and you push open the door. Get rid of that, door's open. What's on the other side? The opening door reveals a tiled morgue, lit only by a guttering torchlight and a robed man standing guard. Okay. Place the darkness tokens. The man points one gnarled finger at you, screeching, "The test subjects are escaping!" You notice a silver glyph on the back of his hand flashing in the torchlight. Spawn a dark druid. There's the dark druid. A metal ring in the wall holds a large torch, providing crude light in the morgue. Place the torch common item. There is a strange pattern on the floor of the morgue. Place a search token. The morgue has one exit, but the wooden door does not have a handle. That's the wooden door. You may move 1 space into the morgue. Yeah, okay. Harvey will move in. And with his second action, Harvey's going to attack the druid. He's got the shriveling spell, so he's going to use the spell. As you utter the arcane words, you suddenly find yourself alone, enveloped in darkness. A disembodied voice questions you in a language that you do not recognize, but instinctively understand. Law 2. So we rolled 1 success, 2 clues, so we'll spend one of these 2 remaining clues. Flip that over. Give him a success. A far-off sound echoes in your mind, and as the veil of darkness lifts, you recognise it as your foe's scream. The monster suffers damage equal to the spell's damage plus your test result. So, the spell's damage is 3. Test result is 2, so he does 5 damage. And that kills the druid. Nice one, Harvey. As the robed figure falls with a scream, the silver on his hands seems to writhe and explode in a spray of bright red. Something shiny clinks to the floor next to the cult member, who dissolves into a foul puddle of tarry black. Place the silver key unique item. Silver key falls to the floor there. That's the end of Harvey's turn. Rita is then going to move in for 1. She's going to move a second move to there. And her next action will be to pick up the torch. And that will be the end of the investigator turn. Mythos phase. This mythos event affects the investigator with the lowest sanity. Rita's sanity is 5, Harvey's is 9. So that will be Rita. You suddenly become aware of an invisible presence closing in around you. Test her will, which is 4. And she passes, no problem. You keep your head and soon the unnerving feeling passes. Back to the investigator phase. I just remembered that Rita may move 1 additional space as part of her move action. So if you remember, she picked the torch up. She moved from there 1, 2, picked the torch up. So what she would actually have done is moved into there, so she can check that out this turn. And that's what she's going to do. She's going to have a look at that. The dark streaks on the floor seem to be a pattern of burns and blood. The smell of the saltpeter and ether lingers around the burns on the morgue floor. The sharp scent makes your eyes water and the pattern wavers for a moment, resolving into a collection of orbs and tendrils. Become focused, then discard this search token. Excellent. So that's her first action. Her next action will be to move back up here with Harvey. Then Harvey will pick up the silver key and he's going to take a look at this wooden door. The door has a glowing silver glyph depicting a key. You can explore only if you have the silver key, which Harvey has. Explore. Ooh. The cool night air is welcome after the dank underground. You recognise your surroundings and gather that you have been imprisoned in the hills outside Dunwich. So we need to place the cave entrance and the covered bridge. Across from the tunnel mouth, an impressive silver maple has had something carved into its trunk. Ahead, you can see the covered bridge that crosses Bishop's Brook, though the inside is deeply shadowed. With a moan and a lurch, an abomination reveals itself on the bridge. Its limbs are mismatched and its skin is slick with grey slime. Spawn a crawling one. There's the crawling one. A book has been left on the planks of the bridge. A boat is overturned on the riverbank under the bridge. Something is glowing through the holes in the hull with purple light. Another tree over the river seems worse for wear. The stars above fail to illuminate more than your immediate surroundings. You may move 1 space into the unexplored area. So Harvey will move So Harvey picked up the key. Then he checked the lock. So I think he's gonna stay there. And him and Rita will move out together in the next turn. Zebulon pushes out of the morgue behind you, breathing deeply in the cool night. So Zebulon comes charging through and out into the night. Good job getting us out of there. We ought to move fast and find the rest of the experiment and destroy it before old Whately realises we escaped. Okay, that's what we're going to do. But we're going to do that next turn.